there! Come in. Are you ready for some Wrestle Mash? Well, tough. You're not really getting it this week. What you are getting, however, ladies and gentlemen, is a new episode, really much like the old episode, which is AEW Mash. We are fully committing here, just for one side of the fence, for better or for worse. We at the Midweek Mashed Tattie Sportscast feel like this is what we watch, so this is what we're going to talk about. Obviously, I continue to be Paul, and we have a pipe bomb to discuss. But first, let's talk about the podcast team. AEW Mash is one of the three podcast parts which, when formed together, make the mega powers that is the Midweek Mashed Tattie Sportscast. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and on all audio streaming platforms. Also Instagram, I forgot it, by the way. Liking what you're listening to, like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to leave us
5 stars, baby! Boom!
Yes, Ollie never leaves. Speaking of boom, ladies and gentlemen, bringing the boom as always on this podcast this week are the Wish Viking, the workhorse himself, Macho Mick, and Hulk Harvey. He is a real Caymanian brother! Yeah! Tops off, Harvey! So that's how we get on.
Like a cup of tea in the morning, I'm doing all right.
Cup of coffee in the big time, yeah. Feeling good. How you doing, Harvey, mate?
I'm good, brother.
How is being a real Caymanian? How is the island, man?
I can't really fucking do the voice anymore. Love it.
Love it.
I don't know how to do it with that. I love it, brother.
There you go. Yeah. You're on it.
Sucker, bro.
Oh, jeez. Well, wait till I tell you about the weekend. I'll get the story and a half here, by the way, at the weekend for one of the boys at CrossFit. He's got a teenage son, so he has, right? He's 14-year-old. And the teenage son is he's a teenage son, lads.
Aye.
So he went into the room, he shouted on him for dinner. Says, son, one for your dinner. Went into the room, the wee man's obviously at the business, the old 5-knuckle shuffle. He points and says, son, stop doing that, you'll go blind. His son says, Dad, I'm over here. Get it?
That joke starts from.
Yes! Straight in with the humour, lads. Believe it or not, it was the missus's dad who told me that joke, by the way.
I'm not surprised.
Love it.
What a guy, man. I was rolling about the kitchen laughing. Outstanding. Anyway, wrestling, lads. Couple of big subjects to talk about on the AEW front this week. Obviously, we have MJF and what I am dubbing the Burberry Bomb, not the pipe bomb, the Burberry Bomb, as he loves his lovely scarves. And speaking of pipe bombs, CM Punk and his injury. So, I think first we'll go into the promo to end all promos. AEW Dynamite. It was announced in the morning of the Wednesday. We will hear from MJF. This was obviously after all this I think furore would probably be the best way to describe it, from the weekend, where it was kind of rumoured that he wasn't going to turn up for Double or Nothing. Then he did turn up and look, let's be honest, lads, we spoke about it, very grumpy. MJF comes out and he cuts a promo that has received absolutely no official sort of push from the company afterwards. This was a promo in which he's kind of stated a lot of grievances with the company. It ended with the quote, and I think I'm just about directly quoting this: I want you to fire me, you fucking mark. And then the microphone cuts out. What do we think about the promo, lads? I will open that up to you.
I don't know how to take it, to be honest. Because
Violently in your ears at first.
There's enough there to suggest that it was supposed to... Basically, it can be one of three things, right? It can be an emulation of Brian Pillman for way back in the day when he was leaving WCW. It could be Pipe Bomb 2.0 and taking... It seemingly took many cues for CM Punk's famous promo. And then also it could have been straight up shoot, and it could just be what happened to come out of MJF's mouth. I would say that option 3 there's the least likely. I think that, in my opinion, that's a worked shoot. Basically, for whatever reason, AEW have, regardless of whose idea it was, they've decided to go with it and let MJF just pretty much go for it. They might have gave him some sort of frame of, like, you can say this but don't say that, or they might have just no bothered and just said go for it, say what you want. Either which way, it would seem that, going by the passion, either MJF is an Oscar level actor, or he really meant much of what he was saying, because there was definitely a lot of passion behind it. And then I think the biggest question is how much it was a work and how much it was a shoot.
I think that's definitely one of the big questions. You know the vibe I got for it as well? I mean, you're saying Pillman, you're saying CM Punk. Ric Flair handcuffing himself to the ropes.
Oh,
WCW Nitro.
that's about left field.
If you cut to commercial, you'll come back and find me naked. Remember when he stripped him off and elbow dropped me shoe and that?
Aye.
I had a bit of that energy to it. Not quite as comical, but just that absolute unhinged screaming of the man.
Aye.
It reminded me of Ric Flair going nuts back in the day. Like
The main reason I bring up the Pillman angle is the famous thing coming out. Like, I can barely remember anything of that promo, but what I do remember is the story that came out of it. And the basic story was Pillman come up with the idea, convinced Bischoff to let him run with it, but convinced Bischoff that the way to really sell it was to legit release him for his contract, so that they had tangible proof that it was a work rather than a shoot, even though it was a worked shoot.
Aye.
Pillman subsequently fucked off to WWE.
Oh, he double-crossed him marvellously and just went to WWE anyway.
Aye.
So I don't think Tony Khan is that silly.
No.
I also don't think it's any accident that obviously MGF mentioned a lot of important people here tonight and all that. Like, so that was a lot of the kind of Warner Discovery execs coming in. I would wager that that's got a lot to do with the kind of the fire of this promo. I feel like this was a boss showing off his kind of star kind of asset. Like, look how much this boy can get these fans in here. This is why you need to be pushing us, because we are edgy and we are everything wrestling should be. However, it leaves a big question with wrestlers who were kind of tasked with staying on longer during the Double Nothing weekend, who subsequently covered MJF when he's no showed the fan meet and greet. Well, there was a few wrestlers obviously stayed on to kind of make up and kind of compensate for that. So they did. From what I can tell, they don't really seem to be in on any sort of work. A long-term work, whether this is all came after Double or Nothing, they've kind of sat down and sort of got clear what they want. I don't think this boy's leaving in 2024. There is absolutely no way he is getting on TV to talk like that if he's leaving in the next 3 months.
I mean, to me, it's like it screams of work shit, man. Like, it's a work, but he's saying, like, just go let your emotions run and just give everything.
Oh, he definitely gave it everything, didn't he?
Just, you know what I mean? I think that's what it was. Because I don't see it happening, but hey, stranger things have happened. Like, do you know what I mean?
Very true.
I mean,
very, very true.
Pillman, as you guys are saying there. Like, do you know what I mean? I think it's a.
Mike, how worried do you feel for humanity watching a crowd cheer for MJF again?
I'm worried for AEW, to be honest. Like, I felt like I had a lot of respect for AEW fans in general. Like, most of the time, they seem like properly clued up wrestling fans. No, like kind of mind-dead sort of sheep, but as you might see at other companies. But aye, like, what are they cheering? You know what I mean? That's the question I want them to answer. Like, what are you cheering? Like, are you into the fact that MJF's like bigging himself up and saying what he really thinks? Or like, do you like the fact that he's shitting on the company and on the boss? Or
I mean, this is the risky
what-
thing, isn't it?
Aye, because the thing is,
I
assuming
think it's just
assuming the AEW have gave him the green light, they've came to Tony Khan and MJF came to some sort of agreement, whether it's just more money, whether it's contract extension, whatever it is exactly. There's an agreement in place, and they've decided to run with the angle because it's got so much media attention, and they've went with this word shoot angle. Like, let MJF go out and go nuts on the mic, then he can disappear for a while for telly. Assuming that's all what's happened, then AEW need the fans to understand that's what's happened. Because if the fans think it's real, but still cheer for MJF, then that makes the company look stupid.
It turns the company heel,
Aye.
which is a dangerous thing at this stage of their development as a company. They're not WWE. They're only 40 years.
It dangerously steers them towards the what's the word that WWE use? What's the word, like you know, it's still on the lines of power.
Authority.
Yeah, authority. It dangerously steers them towards that kind of storyline where there's an authority that everybody's rebelling against. You know, like where Tony Khan becomes a character.
I was just sort of say,
I don't think you're going to see him
it's
as a
rebel against them,
Certainly
you
won't
know.
know.
Aye. I wonder if you don't hear a MJF now for a long time, for another couple of months at least. Like, you look at this as a suspension. I notice he's been removed from the roster page, by the way.
I think the most interesting thing is they've pulled his merch.
And that too. So they pulled his merch. So it looks like a punishment. Like, it looks like a legit punishment.
Yep. Now, is this in part Tony Khan having a bit of fun at WWE's expense? And, you know, like, obviously with the situation with Sasha Banks and Naomi?
Nah, I don't know.
Naomi and Sasha Banks.
Naomi and Sasha Banks.
Aye, because obviously they, you know, suspended, merch pulled, etc., etc. Is it inspired by that? I don't know. Are they just really hard, like trying hard to sell it? See, one of the biggest questions, right, and we'll probably not get an answer, certainly no for a long time, is assuming that there was an agreement made and assuming that this is in some way, at least in some sort of small way, if no fully, a work. At what point did the agreement get put in place and at what point did it become a work? Because MJF no-showed that fan thing that people had paid money to come and do the meet and greet before Double or Nothing. So did he legit no-show that, or did AEW give him the green light to build into the work?
Aye.
Because that's very problematic.
One thing you're noticing is rumours of talent being unhappy with this because they're not in the know. There's been a lot of that this week. A lot of kind of a source told me this, a source told me that from multiple company wrestling journalists, as it were, kind of rumour mill guys.
Well, that's the best. That's the best kind of work, though. Just keep it between you and that bit. Like, do you know what I mean?
That's also true, Harvey. We ask that this be kept in storyline and that we don't know the ins and outs, so that we get to enjoy it more naturally. So that's
exactly.
That's a plus. Like, that's something that's been gone for wrestling for a long time.
Especially when you think about, usually AEW are very forthcoming with situations with like your wrestling journalists and stuff like that.
Yep. Aye.
Do you know what I mean? So it does to me. It's work, but you know,
it's dangerous. I think on many levels.
Aye.
They're risking turning fans against them. They're risking turning the talent against them. They're risking making themselves as a company look stupid. Like, it could work out, and it could be like one of the greatest storylines in the history of wrestling.
No risk,
but it could
no
also
risk, no reward, old boy.
It could also like really blow back in them. I'm curious to know your two opinions, right? doing a sort of direct comparison, Pipe Bomb versus Burberry Bomb, if we're calling it that, right?
Yeah, something over.
Who did it better?
I think you've still got to just slightly give it to CM Punk due to the kind of handcuffs to the WWE system. However, I reacted more to MJF's. Like, I was more shocked by MJF's.
So that's one of the things where you're saying there, why is the crowd cheering? I think it's just because the sheer audacity and the tenacity that MJF's gone, and because I was sitting watching it going, oh my god, like what the hell?
It was like more shocking, wasn't it?
I was like pointing at the tail, like, oh my god, look at this is crazy, man, mental. In fact, I was even messaging in a group, holy shit,
Mm-hmm.
like, do you know what I mean? So I think that's what they're reacting to. I don't think it's maybe as sinister as you think, Michael, like, you know, be turning the company like heel, but it was just, it got me going.
It was an incredible bit of TV, like, to watch for 10 minutes.
The difference between the pipe bomb and the Burberry bomb, or whatever you call it, is like the pipe bomb was more drawn out. If you get what I'm saying, it took a lot. Like, he took his time, where MGF was just straight for this boom, start to finish, just bam, 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 bam,
fire. He was on fire.
You know what I mean? I think the pipe bomb. I think it's kind of similar reasons, but different reasons. If you get what I mean. So I would give it to CM Punk for, like, everybody knew what was going on, and it was just the sheer honest truth that was getting put there, like, you know what I mean? So, I'd give it to Pipe Bomb.
So,
whereas this one we don't really know yet.
There's a lot of unanswered questions.
You know?
Raised a lot of questions.
You wonder if in years to come you'll look back at this as one of the biggest moments in wrestling, though. Like, 10 years on from now, how will this be received? Like, as a cultural kind of standpoint in wrestling, like, what did it do to the industry? Did it raise AEW up? Because I'm speculating you won't see MJF this week, but you better believe people are going to tune in to see if he appears on AEW. Like, it will have had the desired short term effect. People are talking about it. Like, I mean, there's a number of reasons why next week is a certainty to draw probably better numbers than before. And that's probably on point two that we'll gently move and kind of merge into here, which is obviously the news about CM Punk.
Aye. So, just very quickly, my 2 cents on it. For me, Pipe Bomb felt like CM Punk was saying a lot of what he was saying, what a lot of fans thought. You know what I mean? As much as in parts of the Pipe Bomb he was shitting in the fans a bit, for kind of just being sheep and stuff. It felt very very real and very relatable. With MJF, it felt like this, like, it felt very heelish. It felt like this stuck up twat that's well off, who's demanded more money and been turned down, has got he's all but heart and he's chucking his toys out the pram. You know what I mean? As intense as it was, it didn't feel relatable. That for me is a big thing. Like, for why I would say Punk's was much better in terms of crazy earth-shattering promo. But like you're saying, the sort of the furor of it and the emotion and the passion and the intensity, like, it was like must watch. Like, I was glued to it. Like, holy shit, he is going off here. I
mean, he did say some things that were right in it, though. Like, he makes you feel.
Yep.
Like, he makes everybody feel when he watches, and he doesn't need to do it in a way that will shorten his career. Like, he is the polar opposite of Darby Allin. Like, he's doing all that just with his mouth. Like, so he'll be here longer.
Aye.
So he is generational, like, as far as his talent goes for me. Like, I don't disagree with him there.
I don't disagree with a lot of what he said, but it's the way in which he said it. It came across very much as he's this sort of middle class heel, with the money, who wants more money. You know what I mean? I couldn't relate to what he was saying as much as I maybe didn't disagree with what he was saying. I couldn't relate to it in any way. So it just felt like a crazy promo, but just another MJF promo just turned up to 10. Well, turned up to 11.
Oh, he turned it up way beyond 11, didn't he, man?
But you're trying to move his own, right, to the CM Punk thing. It's interesting how they tie in together, because there is a question that we haven't spoke about, right? And it's, was this intended to play into an angle with MJF and Punk along the lines of the Summer of Punk, where it was Punk versus John Cena in the WWE? Because obviously, after we sort of cut to black and then went to commercial on the TV show, it transpires that Punk actually came out to the ring. He hobbled out to the ring to effectively challenge MJF, and MJF looped into the crowd and buggered off.
He's Punk, dancing CM Punk thing.
So, obviously, we now know Punk is injured, and we don't know how long he's going to be out.
Well, it's foot surgery. One thing I want to point to, obviously, that was the announcement was in Rampage. Punk tweeted shortly before Rampage saying he had an announcement about his career and the future of the AEW World title. This obviously led to a pretty sorrowful, teary-eyed promo about how he is injured. It's a broken foot by the sounds of it, and it's going to require surgery. So Tony Khan's resolve was to crown an interim champion. This was explained by Punk. However, Jericho seemed to retcon it by accident on commentary by saying he was relinquishing the title. He isn't. He is stepping aside to allow an interim title winner to happen. So that will be this week's Dynamite coming. It will be the winner of a battle royale that will face John Moxley in the main event to crown the AEW representative for a match at Forbidden Door. So that the Japanese bracket of this will now be Hiroshi Tanahashi versus, I want to say, Hiroki Goto, I think it is. So they're going to have a match. So they're going to have a match on New Japan television. I would imagine it's still going to be Tanahashi. Tanahashi's your man who said Forbidden Door. Like, he's the man who came up. Indirectly, he's created the kind of term that everybody's used. Like, so
a quick question off the bat before we get into the Punk stuff too much. Do we think, like, Moxley is like the kind of obvious go-to? He's the safe bet in terms of being the AEW rep and in terms of being the interim champion. However, with Tanahashi being very much a face, do we think AEW goes with a heel?
This is what I was going to put to you guys, is should it be Moxley?
But so I think the bigger question is, should AEW be comfortable putting the title on Tanahashi?
Because then I mean, it's
problematic.
This is the magic of this. Is what way does it go? There are many different directions you can now spiral it to. By the way, I mean, just first off, what a bloody shame for CM Punk. Absolute gutter. Just at the start of his reign, and he's fucking injured. What a bloody shame. But to get back to this, and by the way, tying into the previous discussion point there, when Punk cut the promo and he mentioned wrestlers, he only mentioned ex-WWE guys. So he said Moxley, Danielson, like it's kind
guys that can uphold the company while he's away.
Failed to mention Wardlow, MJF, Adam Page, Kenny Omega, like all these guys who weren't part of the WWE system. I found that very telling. That after Wednesday night's promo by MJF, Punk then kind of puts forward a line that mentions only guys that are known by the wider audience, obviously, as ex-WWE guys. I mean, everybody's ex somewhere, but specifically they guys, like, I found that very interesting.
it no doubt was a sort of a tease and an Easter egg or whatever
Aye.
to the situation with MJF. You know what I mean? We know Punk well enough at this point to know that it doesn't say much without sort of first thinking about it, and he's very clever with his word choices.
Meaning.
You know what I mean?
Aye.
There's always hidden meanings to what
Most
he's
of
doing.
most of the time there's a meaning to it.
Aye.
to what
There is
he's
always
saying
something.
and doing.
My gut says that, you know, he's hinting towards MJF's carry on, showing that lot on the ready for it. You know what I mean? But you've got these ex-WWE guys that are safe bets that they can hold the fort well and away. But there's also the possibility that he's sort of gingerly laying the foundations for a heel turn, which ties back into the potential of a storyline between MJF and Punk. Because going by the reaction that MJF got and going by the Punk Cena storyline and whatever else, it would make a lot of sense if during Punk's title reign he turned heel and MJF turned face, and we had a double turn resulting in MJF becoming the face champ. But we're a long way away for that happening. If it does happen.
Wait a minute. Do you not appreciate that could happen, Mick?
Aye. It could happen. Aye. I don't understand it. I don't understand why the crowd cheers for the cunt, but aye.
But it's a thing.
It is a thing. It's entirely possible that they could turn him face at this point. Especially now how this is played out, which is so weird because then that makes AEW the heel. That makes the company the heel if he becomes the face.
Or does it just make Punk the heel because he's the champion?
Well, what they might be able to do, and like I've got like the utmost sort of respect and faith for Punk and his abilities, so it is entirely possible that they can make it work. But what they could do is they could have Punk effectively become the spokesperson for everything that MJF is saying is wrong about AEW. So then Punk takes the heat rather than the company.
As the locker room leader,
Aye.
in inverted commas,
Yep.
which is what Punk's been known to kind of prophesise himself as,
Yep.
both in WWE and in AEW, is how he's seen as he sees himself as a leader of the locker room.
Yep.
Like, it's we're in this weird land of God knows what comes next again.
Yep.
Alternatively, who would be another shout for an opponent to Moxley this Wednesday coming? We've got a 30-man battle royal effectively, so it could be just everybody from the top of the card. Anybody you would like to see Moxley go against, especially when we're talking of heels. Do we consider Miro a big enough
Heels.
name?
I was going to say Miro, but you said heel, and I was like,
And then is he a heel? I know, because everybody was
That's what I'm saying,
delighted
like,
to
to
see
react.
him
Is
on
he a heel?
Wednesday.
is he a heel?
I think the fans are just so happy to see him back that they forgot
I'm not-
that he's meant to be a
Aye.
heel character.
I'm not going to lie, I
the
loved
way-
seeing him back. That music hits and I'm buzzing. I love that entrance, man.
I tell you what I didn't like.
Did you not look trimmer?
Aye, he's
Oh,
leaned
he's
up
in
a bit,
great
aye.
shape, isn't he? Like,
I was leaning into
He's in
I was
great
like,
shape.
I
Miro.
didn't like how they went from teaser, vignette, promo thing to then I'm walking out. I didn't like that. I would much rather see like 2 weeks in between the two events.
a wee bit of build up in that wee teaser would have been nice.
Either
certainly.
he just, the music hits and it's Miro and it's like, holy shit, Miro's back, I wasn't expecting that. Or it's the wee teaser and it's like, yes, Miro's coming back, but I don't know when.
No, I would rather him no did the vignette at all. Like,
just come
at
straight
all.
out.
Not even 2 weeks before or anything like that. Just have him
To
come
be
out.
fair, what he said in the
then
vignette,
oh.
he could have won the match and then cut that promo. That might have been
Aye,
better.
by the way, aye. I think he just wanted to show off his acting chops. He's obviously been away doing some sort of acting, so he's like, hey, look at me. I have been acting. Wait till you see this wee video. Go! Run, VT! And then out he goes after it, like, doing his big entrance again. Like, I have missed him far too much, man.
don't
So I'm
think-
just delighted he's back.
Miro's been missing, man.
Oh, they have the
AEW's
company's missed him.
AEW's been missing him.
The monster heel, like,
I don't think he'll get a whiff at the tournament.
you know, thing.
I don't think he'll be at it. Because I don't think you want anybody beating him yet, and it doesn't make sense to me to push
Aye.
on for the title just yet.
I would honestly take him as AEW champ. I'm not going to lie, lads. Like, as an interim champ, fuck aye. You don't know how long
I would
Punk's gonna
take him,
be out.
aye, but I would love to see it, but is it going to happen? No, that's the thing.
I mean, there's so many names at the top of the Does Hangman now have his comeback match that he was going to have against
No.
David Finlay? Do they now both get chucked into the Battle Royale? I mean, that
Well,
was
they can chuck him
obviously
in, but
a planned match was David Finlay and Hangman.
That's stupid to me as well.
Again, it's just luck. Here's some New Japan guys.
Aye.
That's what that is. Like that's look, a New Japan man.
Question.
And it's Fit Finlay.
Question, because
who
I'm lazy
works.
and I can't bother googling it. Is David Finlay Fit Finlay's son?
Yes, I was just going to say that. That's Fit Finlay's boy.
Right.
So
I thought it was, but I wanted to double check.
Fit Finlay, who worked in WCW, WWE, New Japan, everywhere. Fuck.
Right across
Absolutely
Europe
everywhere.
before they're all that.
Aye.
It's legend.
Oh, aye, like a proper
Wrestler.
good hand.
Aye. He came up in part with Regal, William Regal. The two of them wrestled
going
one
on in
another
the
many
world.
times over the years.
Oh, that's who David Finlay is.
Right.
Obviously, David isn't as Irish as his dad, though. He's brought up in America.
Right.
So he is.
I think. Do you know what I would if they're comfortable putting the title on Tanahashi? What I would at the very least think about doing is having Sammy Guevara going to be the man to take on Tanahashi.
So the Tanahashi wins.
And then Tanahashi wins. Everybody loves it because Sammy's the big heel now.
Everybody hates Sammy. Aye.
Aye.
That's,
See when get engaged again, the absolute prick. What an arsehole. I'm just going along with wrestling fans, sorry.
It's weird that they're so against it, isn't it?
Arsehole.
Let
Arsehole
them
going
have
to
their ways,
Paris.
man.
Look at him standing under the Eiffel Tower like a dickhead. And that bitch is getting the cheek to be so pretty. Arseholes. That is literally what it's like.
Aye.
They're just rubbing it in folks' faces. Everybody was best pals with Sammy's ex-missus, apparently. Everybody. Family members over, practically. So outraged.
Strange. It really is.
It's incredible, isn't it?
fucking, it's life, man. Like, I'm pretty sure that they know somebody or friends with somebody who's been in a similar situation.
And they
like,
wouldn't bat an eyelid.
just because you know what I mean? Just because these two are on the telly and like,
I think that's my kind of take at it as a guy in his 30s. Like, life's fucking short. Why be annoyed at strangers for having the cheek to have a good time? Like, fucking get a life.
exactly
Really? Oh, God.
hilarious.
Incredible.
So, picks. I've gave mine. Who's your pick?
My pick. Oh, God.
Who would you like to see win the tournament and do they beat Moxley?
Oh, Jesus. I know.
Worth noting, Moxley is like 7-0, 8-0 for the year. He's undefeated this year so far in AEW, hence why he's the number one contender. But yet, for some reason, I've decided today.
Do you want it to be
Battle Royal.
Jericho to then continue the sports entertainment wrestler feud?
Would make sense. But
Jericho wins with some sort of dodginess due to the Appreciation Society. Moxley absolutely wrecks him, or Kingston, and then it's a proper bro versus bro off.
it's a very complicated situation because not only do you need somebody that's a genuine sort of threat to Moxley, but then out of whoever it is in Moxley, you then need, are they going to be either A, are they going to be the person to go over Tanahashi and be the interim champ, or are you comfortable with them dropping to Tanahashi, putting Tanahashi over and having him be the interim champ, which raises questions and concerns because he's no part of the company. So it's not an easy situation.
It really isn't it? It's such a tricky thing to do. And is Tanahashi a big enough name to be the first kind of AEW champion not with the company? Tanahashi is a monster guy in Japan,
Aye.
yes.
But in America, does he have a
Is
name?
he as big a deal as Okada?
I don't think so.
Okada's currently the New Japan champion.
No.
I'm surprised
I mean,
they didn't
it's-
go with Punk and Okada to start with. I thought that was interesting.
I
to champion
honestly,
champ.
I honestly thought my pick was Osprey, but then apparently Osprey has appendicitis, I think. Or something like that.
Oh, all right.
I think he's currently hurt, so he's probably got a shout of missing it.
That's a shame.
At this rate, I know it's an absolute gutter. Like, it really is. But I mean, I get why they've went for Tanahashi, and it still will be exciting to see Tanahashi against an AEW champion, interim champion contender. Like, it's just a shame it isn't he. I think Punk and him would have been tremendous.
Aye.
I think that would have been a great match stylistically to watch. Like,
I think Punk style match is better with Tanahashi than it does Okada. I think if he's against Okada, then he has to just basically be on the back step the whole time and let Okada just be Okada and beat the shit out of him.
aye.
You know what I mean? So,
Aye.
But I don't know, Harvey. You get any ideas who you would
Dug in the fight, Harvey?
who you would have against Moxley? Who would you win? But who would you have win the Battle Royal?
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, if you right, so if it's Tanahashi, right, it's got to be. We're assuming it's Tanahashi, right?
Aye, they'll be in the
It's going to be aye. I'd be shocked if it wasn't.
So, face, then, so if I'm trying to think about it logically, then you'd have somebody like Adam Cole, a heel, if you want to do heel face, and then Tanahashi wins, man, I don't know. Adam Page? No, it's not Adam Page. Adam Cole, sorry.
Adam Cole? I mean, I could see AEW doing it. Like, as if he's not enough.
He's a heel. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know. I mean, who else is there? Like,
I would not be shocked.
You could have Wardlow, but then you can't have him win.
No, based on that's something I want to ask you about that before we finish up today. The nonsense that we're doing with Wardlow, but
aye.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if they did. What's his face? Why am I so bad with names?
Jay
no. The young that defies gravity.
Oh, Dante Martin.
Dante Martin. I would not be shocked to see Dante Martin come away the winner and then face Mox, but with Mox winning.
Aye, Mox absolutely blasted through.
Aye.
That wouldn't shock me because they love a bit of Dante Martin.
I feel like Martin's went coat. I wasn't as impressed as I thought it would be with Sky versus Dante Martin on Rampage.
I think a lot of that's because Sky got injured.
And did you notice that about 3 minutes into the match, him clutching at his thigh?
Yep.
The luck they're having with the champs right now, by the way, is horrible. He looked badly injured.
The last I had seen, he's no announced what it is, but he's saying that it could be a knee ligament. He's waiting scans to see what the damage is.
Shit,
so it could be another interim title or stripping him. Or
stripping him, aye.
He's potentially out longer than Punk, depending on what it is.
If it's a bad injury,
I was just going to say.
I mean, it looked it like I remember seeing him kind of clutching it and thought, nah, that's no a worked injury. He's in discomfort there.
As much as Dante Martin's got a ton of potential, he's no got the experience in ring generalship to
work
really that fully and have a really good match with an injured Scorpio. So,
because he only goes at one speed, which is top fucking speed. And if you can't go at top speed, then he would. I think he did. He struggled with how to kind of slow himself down there, didn't he? Like, it was a big shame. Like, and it looks like potentially you're talking another title that's going to lose its champion because of an injury. Although with the TNT sort of landscape, I don't know if that perhaps does it a favour.
I think you've got to strip him, and I think you probably reintroduce Miro. Have Miro come in and decimate something.
That was the absolute pinnacle of the TNT title was very good to begin with. Like Cody, Darby Allin, Miro. That was one hell of it, and Brody Lee obviously in there too. That was a hell of a run for that belt. Like, it was nearly as important as the world title. The matches were more regular and they were great. Miro was, out of the four who were all good, Miro was by far the best champion of a lot of them. Like, he genuinely was. It's missed him big time. So it has. So I wouldn't be averse to that. Just like I wouldn't be averse to Miro even going up to be an interim champion at AEW. Like, I wouldn't see a problem with that.
I don't know if it's the right move, but I think I would rather see that than Mox, because I think Mox was hard done by with no getting to have a good run once they were back in front of an audience, because obviously he was the man during the sort of pandemic
The
era.
whole pandemic, aye.
So I
Now,
think
do they consider that as well,
I
Mick?
think he deserves like a proper run rather than an interim run,
Aye.
and I don't think he's the man to beat Punk. So I think the best course, or sorry, the better course of action out of the two would be Miro rather than
Aye.
Mox. But it's a shame that Mox has to get beat and lose his streak, unless you do put Mox forward for the interim belt. So it's a shite situation.
It is, aye. Like how it's interesting to see how they go forward with it. It really is. Just a quick wee sidebar on Mox there. What did you think of that match at the main event of Dynamite? I thought Daniel Garcia looked fucking awesome again.
Well, it was really good. I think Mox is, in some ways, he's done what Punk's made a big deal about doing, and that he's really having cracking matches with the young talent and bringing them on. He's helped showcase Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia big style.
Oh, he really did. I thought it was a star maker of a performance for Garcia. I really did.
Mm-hmm.
That hat is continues to be hilarious. Like him stoating to the ring with that hat on, but once he's in that ring, he's a killer, man. He's an absolute killer.
Mm-hmm.
It was a cracking main event.
I loved them going between the like the elbows, like trying to set up the finish, and they were like going back and forth with it.
I kind of trading the kind of the 12 to 6 elbows.
Aye.
So, anything else before we head, lads?
I want to know your thoughts on, has AEW dropped the ball with the Wardlow situation? Should they be booking him better? And because obviously they should, what would be a better choice, a sort of first run storyline, whatever, rather than this nonsense they're doing with the class action lawsuit thing with the security guards?
I hope that's a 1 week and done storyline for a start. I laughed at it, but that's all I expect to see of that. Never
I
again.
laughed at it. It was funny. I just laughed at you the other Michael. So you asked a question, proceeded to answer the question for us, but still want us to answer.
So Michael's gave his thoughts.
Yep.
And that's the
call
question
bullshit.
on it.
You explain why you think it's bullshit.
Explain why I'm right. So, to answer your question,
That's
Michael,
all.
I think that's a one and done kind of thing. I think that's 1 week of just letting Wardlow powerbomb somebody, basically. Like, it's a quick wee show of powerbombs. The crowd, as you see, heavily popped for Wardlow, and there was a big, massive crowd. So they got their wee Wardlow cameo. They go to see him throw JD Drake up in the air, and then another big guy that's 6 foot plus as well, easy peasy. And that's it. That's just your one wee show. I would imagine if there's any kind of issue with the TNT champion needing to be rejigged, I would have Wardlow and about that, and I would have Miro as your world championship contender now.
Right, okay.
Like, I don't see the problem with Wardlow being a TNT champ. Powerbomb Symphony every week, lift his belt up. It's a very simple, very easy story to tell. Like, until he comes against a contender that's worth him being worried about. Like, somebody that's actually going to cause him trouble. That's fine by me. What about yourself, Harvey? Before we go, what do you think? You alright with that as well?
I think that's a very viable option right there.
Aye.
Put the TNT champs on him, depending on what's going on with your man there. Aye.
Probably just a
I think
wee
Miro
bit too
is
early.
kind of probably. I think Miro's kind of outgrown the TNT. He can push for the world champ.
I've always said it with him, even in WWE as Rusev.
Aye.
He's a world championship guy. Like he's a fucking monster heel. He's awesome.
The problem with him in terms of the current situation is that he's only just back in the door.
It's quick. I know.
Obviously,
I
you
get
have
that,
to
it's
build
so
him up a
quick.
wee bit.
Well,
But
that being said, if he runs through the Battle Royale and then beats Mox, then I can take that a lot easier than just doing a match between him and Mox, and then the guy that's just back in the door 2 minutes runs through Mox. That would suck ass.
aye.
So
I mean, that would do me as well, mate. Like, that would do me as well. Well, lads, as I have said, AEW Mash is a bit quicker a podcast, so we will end it there this week. Any last words before we go?
Blood and guts.
Blood and guts. Can't wait for it, man. Straight after
Here versus here.
Here versus here. Will we see a Baldy Jericho?
Tell you what, first ever hair versus hair match where I'm into it. First time ever.
Kind of want to see a Bald Jericho.
It's only because of the hilarity of Jericho's hair during that Arcade Arena match. That's the only reason.
You better believe that's why it's happening, because he's noticing when.
I was going to say.
Aye.
The only reason it's happening is because Jericho's getting it.
He's decided he needs a new hairstyle because he's gone bald. So
As
he's
always.
like, let's have a hair versus hair match. Up front.
As always, he is ahead of the
But worked
curve.
it in
He is ahead of the
ingeniously.
curve. Class. Oh, well, let's get the fuck out of here, lads. That is good enough for me. So, we'll say bye-bye. Auf Wiedersehen. Au revoir. Anything else? No? Fuck it. I don't know.
I've run out of languages.
Smell lemon
Sayonara.
chocolate.
My lemon chocolate. Right, we are out of here. Bye.
Goodbye, bye.
Bye.